Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's episode we're going to be looking at repairing an MMI flip out screen on the Audi A6 and the A7 on the C7 chassis. Now I do believe it has the same MMI screen in the Audi A8 on the D4 chassis as well, so it can apply to all three different models. Now a bit more about the fault. Now the screen should pop out, all of the functions should be working as normal, but the screen will be black. Now all that is a broken power lead. Now today I'm going to show you how to take all the panels off to get to it and how to repair it. Now the tools you're going to need to do this job is some kind of plastic pry bar just to lever the panels off so you don't damage them. You're going to need a set of side cutters for removing the cable ties off the cables behind the screen. You're going to need an 8mm socket with a small extension bar on a ratchet. You're going to need some 1/2mm gauge wire and cut into two lengths just like this, either end trimmed off like that. And you're going to need some 3.2mm heat shrink and a soldering iron and solder. This screen has already been repaired, so I'm just going to go through what you need to take to pieces and how to repair it. The first thing you want to do to confirm that you have this actual fault is to put the ignition on, wait for the screen to pop out, and you'll probably notice the screen is black. Now to confirm it's just the power supply is broken, you should press either the radio button or the media button, and you should still hear the sounds, the volume should still work, and everything like that, function wise, should still work. So it'd just be the screen that's black. And if that's the fault you have, then I'll show you how you need to take it out and repair it. First of all, turn the ignition off so the screen folds away. And then, if I just lower the steering wheel down a little bit, it gives you a bit better access to it, that's all, like so. Now just down here to the left hand side, you'll see this little panel just here. All you need to do is fingers underneath it, and that pops straight off. And now you've got a second one on the opposite side, just down here. Do the same thing again, pop it off with your fingers and pull it towards you. And that will give you access to the two 8mm bolts just underneath there. You can see just there, you've got one each side. So you want to start by undoing those first. Now once you've removed both of the bolts on each side, you're going to want to remove this plastic trim across here. Now remember, it is actually clipped into the side panels as well on each side. So you've got to kind of be very careful when you do this part. Hold this piece down and you pull this piece forwards, and they should separate. It can be quite stiff and tricky. There you go. See the clip on the back there? That just clips into there. It's the same on the other side, it just pops out. And then you just sit that panel forward, just out the way for now. The next part you want to go to do is actually remove this trim that goes around the screen, and this is where you need your plastic pry bar to get behind it. It's only clipped on this piece, there's no bolts on this one. Just get behind it and lever it off, basically just under the clips. Also, be very careful not to snap or break anything. It can be very tricky, just like that. There you go, that's come out now. And once you've done that, very carefully go along and unclip each clip. There we go, nearly off. Just get the pry bar behind that last bit there. There we go. Maybe not throw it across the car like I did just then, but yeah, that's off. And now that will expose 4 more 8mm bolts. 2 there and 2 there. You're going to want to remove all 4 of those. Once you've removed all 4 bolts, you're then going to want to remove this whole vent section across here. Now this plastic trim actually stays on that, so you don't need to remove that separately. So you start by pulling that forwards. It should just pop out just like that quite easily. Same on the other side. Pull the whole lot out. Being very careful though, because there is actually some wires on the back of this, so very carefully pull that out. You'll notice at the top here, this plug with a very short wire, you're going to want to remove that, or else you're not going to be able to get enough access in there to take everything to pieces. It's just got 2 clips on the top there, on each side of it. Just like that. There you go. Leave that hanging there, and that should give you enough room to just drop that down there, out the way. You can rest it actually on the gear stick there for now. I mean, you've got 1 more wire this side, so just be a bit careful of that. And now you should be able to grab the screen as one piece and just pull it forwards. The whole lot should come out as one piece. just like that. There you go. Once you've removed this screen, you're going to want to try and tilt it forwards a little bit, just so I can try and show you this. And then you've got the multimedia cable just here, clipped in here. I mean, if you press that clip together there, and like that, and you just pull it outwards, it is quite stiff actually to get out, that is. But it will come if you just persuade it gently. Once you've took that out, you then want to remove, if you see just down here, there's a plug here. You have to squeeze at each side of that plug and pull that plug out as well, which is actually quite tricky to get in there on this. You might want to use some sort of small ended screwdriver to squeeze it. There you go, just about managed to get that out there. But that's actually the power cable, that is. It's just 2 wires inside there. Once you've removed that, you're going to see a cable tie. I know these are the cable ties that I've put back on actually, but there's a big cable tie like clip type thing here. Carefully cut that cable tie off, and then you're going to want to strip back all of this all the way back to here. Pull all this sleeving back out the way, and it will expose the 2 power cables that go back through here. And you'll notice there will most likely be a break around here somewhere, because this is the part that actually twists each time the screen comes in and out. I'll just put a picture on screen now to show you what happened to my one. But once you've done that, what you want to do is actually cut this section out of both the cables, just about this long really. Just cut them sections out, and you're going to want to replace those 2 damaged sections with a new cable that you've got. So the best way I found to do this repair is if you get your new section of cable and onto the original cable that's going to be on the car, you want to spline the 2 cables together very carefully, like so, so it's nice and neat together. And you want to run some solder along that to solder that joint together. Once that's done, you obviously then you want to get your bit of heat shrink, which you need to remember to put on before you solder it actually, because you're going to struggle afterwards. Put your heat shrink on over the joint, and then basically you just heat shrink that, and that will give you a nice clean joint for when you cable tie it back on here. You shouldn't get any bulky parts in the way. Now once you've carried out the repair on the 2 cables and you've soldered it and you've put your heat shrink on, you then want to try your best to wrap the cables back up in the sleeve that you unwrapped a little bit earlier on. Cable tie everything back together, and the little cable tie type clip thing you had there, you won't be able to use again. So what I did is actually, if you can see there, is used a slightly smaller cable tie to go through the hole on the clip and just cable tied it in that way. And that seems to do the trick. And then you obviously want to plug all your plugs back in, like so, and remember to plug your multimedia plug back in as well. Now at this stage you can very carefully, if you pick the whole screen up like this and hold it and you press your ignition key to turn it back on, you'll see the screen pops out, and then you should be able to hopefully see the screen working, which if there was a broken wire there, then you're more or less guaranteed that that screen will be working after that. Once you confirmed it working, fold it back away again, and you can start going ahead to put all the screen back in the reverse order of how I've just told you to take it all to pieces. Now this part, actually, I'll try to do this one-handed, which could be a bit tricky. When you put it back in, you'll notice that the screen doesn't actually locate. It's just sitting there loosely. It actually locates when you put this section back in. Now before you do that, remember to plug this short cable back in before you do so. Just like that. When you push this back in, gotta be very careful here, it is quite fiddly. Now once you've located the vents back into position, you'll notice that actually it seems to locate the screen, and it's quite a nice tight fit. And obviously all you need to do then is go ahead and put your 4 bolts back in, and then clip the panel back over the top. Obviously once you've got all this section back in, you just want to double check that the screen is all working, which, yep, obviously it is. And then you just got to put this section back in, which can also be a bit fiddly because you've got to clip that back in to the outside pieces, which is quite a strong clip on these actually, but it will go. There you go, that's 1, that's 2. There you go. And obviously just double check that everything is nice and flush to how it should be. There you go. And that, you can put your 2 bolts back in there then. And then all you got to do is remember to clip your little panels back on. These can be a bit fiddly sometimes as well, but you'll look on the back, you've got like a little locator pin just here. Locate that into the little hole and it should just pop straight back in. There you go. And the second one. And there we go, everything's back together. I hope this video has helped you out in some way, and if it has, don't forget to click the like and subscribe button and click the bell notification so you're notified each time I upload. Until next time guys, take care.